If you were born in 1994 to 1996, then you are born with Saturn in Pisces. And beginning in 2023, March the 7th to the 8th, Saturn will enter into Pisces and you will begin your Saturn return. A Saturn return transit is when Saturn transits all the way around the zodiac and returns back to the place where you were born. And so you are part of a peer group of those who were born in 1994 to 1996, where you're here to elevate in the discipline principalities of the sign Pisces. And your peer group is very important because you are helping the collective as well deal with their karma as well. And so you're born with this karma and are here to elevate the collective because of this energy that you're born with, which makes your peer group really important because a lot of the collective may miss out on some of the lessons that we need to learn when it comes to Pisces. These lessons are connected to self-sabotage, it's connected to loss of compassion for others, loss of compassion for those who you may even deem are beneath you or without. And this is also connected to maybe even getting lost in a fantasy realm versus dealing with reality. And so your peer group is born with this energy. And you may have learned lessons throughout your 20s in which you have dealt with these lessons dead on. And so your Saturn return is a time where you're walking into maturity. And the biggest thing that usually happens during a Saturn return is that a lot of people feel the weight of Saturn. They feel that heaviness of Saturn. And I actually created my entire YouTube during my Saturn return, and that truly was how it was experienced for me. But I'm really excited to share with you how I've grown as well. And I want to present to you a way in which you can embody the Saturnian energy. These are Saturn return worksheets that are excellent for you to process with journal prompts and descriptions of the Saturn return, how it is that I would help you turn around understanding Saturn's lessons and turn them into karmic rewards. If you find that you are one of the people who is a part of this peer group and going through their Saturn return, I highly suggest that you download this. However, this is excellent for anyone who wants to embark on the Saturn and Pisces journey. And win. You can win your karmic rewards a lot faster than even people like me who only saw Saturn for the depletion that it brings, the heavy lessons that it brings, and even sometimes the punishment that it brings. But in a lot of ways, your entire peer group is connected to dealing with punishment in a compassionate way. This idea of Saturn usually is connected to corporal punishment. It's connected to dealing with the harsh consequences. But when Saturn goes into Pisces, the consequences don't have to be so harsh. They actually can connect us back to our humanity. And even the person that you might even deem really deserves that punishment, like they've done something really awful to really hurt you or hurt other people, even that person has some sort of origins of self-sabotage, of trauma, of subconscious beliefs about themselves that have caused them to take those types of actions. And so it's all about the idea of punishment and how is that punishment can be something that helps people to become better versus just putting a Band-Aid on the problem. So that's how it works globally for you. But I really want to help you guys understand Saturn in its entirety. And so we're going to go through that really strongly in this video. But I also want to share with you my Astrology in Action course where we also go through Saturn and manifestation and other video resources that I have on Saturn already on my channel. This is going to be like a real course for you, a real journey in which you're going to embody this energy from a cosmic language. And if you really do, then you'll see that anything that's coming towards you is only making you stronger. It's making you step more into your authority. So let's talk about authority for a minute, because a lot of the times when people go through a Saturn return, they actually experience a loss of authority because the lessons are all come burdening down on them. And they actually find themselves in probably their worst situations. And that's because I say that Saturn is monumental. It's either where you are at the top of the mountain or you are finding yourself at rock bottom. Both of these metaphors are deeply connected to the symbology of Saturn and its original rulership over Capricorn. Now, when it comes to Pisces, there are certain ambitious goals that I need for you to start thinking about, because this will help to offset the typical experience of a Saturn return. And this is some of the things that I've learned. So I'm very excited to speak about Saturn returns from this way. We're transforming the way that a Saturn return is experienced through your peer group. So when we think about Saturn and Pisces, a lot of the issues are going to be about authority. And if you're on the downward spiral, more than likely you're dealing with somebody who is embodying that authority over you. And you may even feel some intimidation. You may feel like you have to keel over to that situation. Depending on where Pisces is in your chart, we can get more ideas about that. For instance, if you have Pisces in the 4th house, this could be connected to a landlord. If you have Pisces in the 2nd house, this could be connected to the person who cuts your checks. But the biggest lesson about Saturn is that you have to embody the authority yourself. You have to create an ambitious goal for you to be the landlord in the 4th house, for you to be the one that cuts people's checks in the 2nd house. And this is the secret of Saturn in gaining your karmic rewards that even I missed, and I'm so excited to share with you, because it's time now to transform the way that people handle their Saturn lessons. Now, the bigger thing about Saturn is the concept of patience. And so this is also why a Saturn return can be overwhelming, because how are you going to reach this ambitious goal within the small amount of time that you have? And so this is about having that knowledge of patience and knowing that patience is the cure. Because patience is something that a lot of people miss, even grown-ups, even the person who may have authority over you. In fact, a lot of their abuse of authority is probably coming from impatience. So for you to embody patience naturally gives you your authority almost immediately. In the gene keys, patience is one of the profiles of the gene keys. And I know some of you may not even know what gene keys is, but it's connected deeply to astrology. And the gift is patience, and the place of enlightenment is timelessness. So if you're worried about reaching a certain ambitious goal within a certain time frame, that might be the limitations that you truly have on yourself. But to embody patience means that you know that along with your abilities, the universe is co-creating with you. And when you have patience, you have this universal trust. You have this trust in the unseen. And this is why this is so great for your peer group specifically, those who are having Saturn return in Pisces, because Pisces is connected to faith and belief. And what you believe in and what you have faith in is where you have that unseen trust. That's really what faith is. It's having trust in something that isn't tangible. And some people might go all the way over their heads, because most people operate from that tangible, materialistic world. And so your group is dealing with the material, which is Saturn, cold earth, and the untangible, which is Pisces. And you're working through this practice, right, of embodying faith through some sort of tangible action, some sort of tangible plan. And Saturn is connected to preparation. So a lot of this also is about you creating a planned preparation towards your ambitious goals. One of the biggest things that people miss in their Saturn returns is that they react versus respond. They react versus prepare. So I'm so excited to bring this to you, because instead of you reacting to the things that may be coming your way, the pressure that may be facing you in your Saturn return, now is your chance to prepare. Now is your chance to prepare to respond. And a lot of the times people also react in a way that the reaction only gets them to survival mode. Their reaction only gets them to the same level that they're at, which is unfortunately insubordinate. I was there. I've been there. But what if your response and your preparedness is towards your ambitious goals? Because where Saturn is where you have an ambitious goal, when things come your way, you can handle them with a lot more of a focused spirit. You can handle them with a lot more clarity, because this thing that's in your way, it's just a little landmark. It's not the monumental moment that you're working towards. So this is what you need. You need a monumental moment, a monumental goal that sets you further down the line, that gives you longevity, that gives you something very, very far reached out, so that when you deal with the pressures of the world, there'll only be little, blips in the journey towards that ambitious goal. Ambitiousness is the key to Saturn, because life without Saturn is life without structure. Life without Saturn can be a life of a lot of more comfort and pleasures, which most of us want. But life without Saturn is a life without confidence. Check out the video that I have, which is the Sun and Saturn and how they build your confidence. Because it can be very easy and enjoyable to live life without any sort of pressure. But a lot of Saturn's work that it does on humanity is to help you see that you can go beyond your limitations. So a life without Saturn might be very boring. I know it might sound crazy to believe that comfort can lead to being bored and that comfort can lead and pleasures can lead to nothingness. But it's so true, because you can't really appreciate comfort and pleasures without the work and the effort towards something greater than you. It's the energy of Saturn that helps humanity to build houses, to build bridges, to build things that are bigger than themselves. Because the human can have a vision, which we find in Aquarius, but the actual building it out comes from the earth signs. And Saturn is the ruler of the final earth sign, which is Capricorn, building that mountain. And that idea is about climbing a mountain or building something that is beyond your own limitations. This is why people who have the greatest careers are very Saturnian in their attitudes and in the way that they do things, because they have built something beyond just their identity. And that's what Saturn represents in astrology. It represents the career house, because the career is something beyond you, but you built it from your identity. Your identity, which is that sun, that ego, needs confidence, and that confidence comes from going beyond yourself and building something beyond your identity. And so this is what everyone has to deal with Saturn, but your peer group is going through this with specific lessons, which means the karma is coming directly towards you in your chart. Yeah, society might be dealing with it in their conversations. They might be battling out over political dinners, dinners with political conversations, but you guys will be the ones who are truly embodying the lesson and transforming the idea of being insubordinate in the sign of Pisces to being achieved in the sign of Pisces. They say in ancient astrology that it takes until 35 to actually win your karmic rewards. But what if we could change that? What if you can change that? Because I'm still on that journey. But what if you, at your age, could change that ancient idea that you have to wait until 35 to really experience your ambition? I think many people have already. There have been people who have risen to their greatest heights before they even saw 28. And while the age is not really about it, it's more about this idea of limitations. And even astrology itself has limitations on the outcomes of people. And this is the beauty of Saturn in Pisces, because astrology is connected to a few zodiac signs, but Pisces is one of them. And it might be that we put a lot of limitations on our spirituality. You can only do this until you do this. You can't do this until you can do this. And this might be some of the things that you and your peer group are learning and can give to us in the global collective, where it is that we really don't need those limitations in order to achieve, or where we can burst through those limitations in order to achieve our highest spiritual realization, self-actualization. So this is your Saturn return message. And if you guys really want to dive deep, check out some of the resources that I have for you, including a Saturn return worksheet, which you can get on my Etsy. If you would like to go through the course of Astrology in Action, right now I mainly have a Saturn section. So this is perfect for everyone who is in the Saturn return or not, but especially if you're in the Saturn return, the Saturn section is great for you. And invest in the time to understand this energy so that you can win the energy. Thank you so much for tuning in to Eye of the Crown, and I'll see you in the next video.